I really need to stop popping my knuckles. But will I? Probably not. Hey, so crafty Liz. There you go. Iron on. Kombucha tea ready. Okay. If you can hear me, if you could let me know, I would really appreciate it. And be like, oh, Shanova, you have the most amazing voice. I love it when you do accents. You know what's bad is like I keep getting patterns from people from different parts of the world, and then like this pattern, it comes the spoonful of sugar, I believe, is in Australia, and when she gave me the a-okay to do her pattern, I immediately started trying to talk with an Australian accent, and my daughter was like, please stop. Please. For the love of God, mom, please stop. Today we're going to be making a ghost coaster. I really love this name. I actually love her business name, A Spoonful of Sugar. Immediately I started seeing Mary Poppins in my head, and I was just excited. So let's get started. So if you want to sew along with me, you need to buy the pattern. The link is in the description box as well as the chat. And let's see. And it says make snack time fun with these ghost duos. And you can, this pattern that we're doing, when you cut out the materials, it's enough to make two, a right and a left ghost. We're going to make one ghost today. But you can definitely make the whole pattern, which will give you the right and left, which I think is awesome because like you when you make coasters, you actually, most cup sets come in two, but I think this is really cute because if you have like someone that's getting married, I know a lot of people's anniversaries that are on Halloween, and if you give them the coasters, then like maybe some really cute Halloween mugs or champagne glasses, this is a cute set to give to someone, like because they'll now have a personal touch of the Halloween rug mug and then some glasses. I don't know, I'm here for it. All right. So you need the basic equipment that you have, like the rotary, the scissors, the pins, a chopstick. I got my chopstick from Bags by Kate. I thought I got this by Fireweed Stitch, but apparently it says Bags by Kate. Are they the same person? Maybe. I am not too sure, but I know Firewood Stitch sells these too, and like Rainbow and all that. And then you need the template, which is the last 4 pages of the pattern, and some marking tools. So we're going to assemble the quilt part. So you need your rows, and whenever I'm doing quilting, I put the rows and I usually clip them in space, in space. And we're going to use, of course, a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and there's going to be 7 rows, and each row has a certain amount of squares. So I'm going to start putting these squares together. And I'm just going to kind of chain stitch it at first. Because I'm a person that loses count real fast, I chain stitch it why it's in its row, and then I'll put that row together and then work on the next, and so on and so forth. If that makes sense. Then I'm just going to open this up and start doing the side by side. Right sides together, of course. My iron's going to start steam talking to me. And when I'm done with this row, I'm going to take it over to the iron and press open the seams. Hi. Oh, what do you work late? Ugh, I can't. I props to the people that can work late shift because I'm a person like at 9 o'clock I start like literally nodding off. Like I always give kudos to truck drivers and all that because, or nurses, doctors, anyone that can work a night shift, retail, whatever. Because here I cannot. I've never been able to work a night shift because I don't know. As soon as the night hits, it takes forever for me to fall asleep. But when I fall asleep, it's really hard for me to wake up. I'm using a wool mat, which makes this whole basement smell like a farm. It's awesome. And then I'm just going to take it from the front and just to ensure that these press will go. I'm just going to hit it one more time with the iron. This fabric was already pre-washed and on the bolt. I wash most of my fabrics. I'm allergic to everything. Like anything you could possibly be allergic to, I'm allergic to. So I wash everything like before I put everything on anything. Like it's amazing what I'm allergic to. You would be surprised. This Oslo, it like I hope I say that right. It just talks to you like nonstop. Okay, that one did not sew at all. Let's see what's going on here. I'm using Saba 40 weight thread from Wallach. I usually use them on this 5550N Juki because it does not like 70 weight thread. I have no idea. I see people all the time using this machine and you can use 70 weight thread. My machine does not like 70 weight thread at all. You love the nights. I'm not a morning person either though. I'm like, don't talk to me. You know who my son is such a morning person. Like he'll be like, "Good morning, mommy. How are you doing, mommy?" I'm like looking at him like, "Why are you so chipper?" So I try to smile and be nice because I don't want him to stop that. Because morning people always intrigue me. Like you're so amazingly like cheerful. We have a couple of rolls. It's these are smaller pieces. I like this though because like if you have like some really cool fabrics that you've been saving little scraps here and there, like from different projects, you can go ham and like create like a really cool project. Has anyone like okay, so no matter if you have like a domestic or a industrial, if you have the knee lift, have you ever like wore shorts and like you lotioned your legs or you put baby oil or whatever on your knees and then you try to use the machine, the like the knee lift and it's like sliding off? That's what's happening right now. And it's super irritating. I was like, what is going on? Why is my leg not working with the knee lift? And I was like, oh, yes, you put lotion on. And this knee lift is different from the other knee lifts that I have. It's like not padded, it's just like a piece of plastic. So it's not like it doesn't have any grip. What projects are you guys working on? Are you working on anything for Halloween? Are you making costumes for yourself, your kids, or a friend? Are you making a quilt? I know, like, I feel like I know everyone's like, this is like, clothes making season, but I always feel like fall is quilt season because like you can really take your time and piece things together. It's not hot. You're a night nurse. Oh, you're a saint because like I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. Taking care of others is just that's a tremendous job. And I always listen to the nurse because nurses pick up on things that doctors don't all the time. So like a nurse says, like, don't take this medicine. I'm like 100%. I'm not going to do it. I always listen to a nurse. Like in my on my last when I had my last child, I had an emergency C-section again. I was trying to have a natural birth, right? And I wasn't feeling good afterwards, and they kept pumping all these heavy medicines in me. And all I wanted to do was hold my baby, and then my head started hurting so bad. And the nurse kept telling the doctor, I think we need to do a blood patch. I think that she's having spinal leakage. And he was like, no, it's sometimes it just happens. She can have postpartum depression. She's like, no, she does not showing any signs. Me and the other her other nurse at night said the same thing. She's not sleeping. She just keeps saying that she can't walk right. It feels like she's having like vertigo. And so what they did is they put me like the night nurse instead of giving me the morphine because I'm like, I'm not in pain, my head hurts. And they understood quickly that like when you have like serious headaches, like migraines and stuff like that, having opioids and having like pain meds like that is like the worst thing you can have. I have chronic migraines. I don't take hardcore medicines. You have to take like nerve blockers and different medicines and not like opioids. Like you can't take narcotics, right? So they got me on like liquid Tylenol, which I did not know that they had liquid Tylenol for adults until that day. And then they got me on like gabapentin and stuff like that to do it. So I was semi-functional, But when the nurse got a some kind of like nurse practitioner who got me into a CT scan, like with contrasting, for sure, I they were able to see that I was leaking spinal fluid, and that's when I had to get a blood patch. But that was wrong, and if I didn't get that CT scan that day, I would have had to wait it out, because it's like there's a certain time window. It's like 72 hours that you have to get it done, and then you have to wait for it. Like they can't go in and do it. But yeah, I like from that point on, I've always trusted nurse. Your project longest list. Yeah, I have so many UFO projects is not even funny, and most of them are quilting. Like I want to start doing paper piecing quilting, like in my downtime, but like my downtime is usually typing out correspondence, so I'm like my hands are usually busy, or I'm writing out stuff, or I doodle my bags before I make them. I know that sounds weird, but I will draw out a bag and then I'll start cutting out swatches of fabrics that I have, and then that's how I start doing it, because I like to use weird prints and I want to see how well they work when they're so contrasting. I even do that with my nails. Put them on like I am bad. If there's any blank space on any kind of paper, an envelope, anything, I will draw on it. I'm super bad at that. Okay, so am I the only one? I like ironing. That's the only thing I hate about using vinyls. I actually like ironing. I find it quite soothing and relaxing. Seeing something going flat that was curled up, I don't know why. So we got three, we got four more rows to go. I picked like I I wanted to do polka dots, but then I was like, it's gonna drive me nuts if the dots are not matching. So I chose not to do that way. Oh wow, you're making a custom backpack for your friend. You could, yeah, it all depends though. Okay, so look, like I said, I've said this before, and I'll speak to the rooftop. Some of my all time favorite designers sew on a domestic. Okay, so you heard of Lavender and Twine? The owner's name is Erica. Erica sews on a domestic machine. Ora Rosa is Alexis. She sews on a domestic machine. Bedhog, the one that does all these crazy cool techniques with bags. Her name is Amy. She sews on a domestic machine. There are so many people that I know that have a business or design bags, and they sew on a domestic machine. And that's why I try to stick to a lot of patterns where the designer sews the pattern where it could be meant for domestic or industrial, because it's all about the materials you use and how you reduce bulk. The person that I think is the best at reducing bulk in it for domestic is Alexis. The one reason why I always tell people to get Ora Rosa patterns is because you're getting an education, and once you really pay attention in how she reduces bulk, you can apply this knowledge to any other pattern. Um, she All of her bags look professionally in hand, like better than any Louis Vuitton I've ever seen, and she sews on a domestic. So Country Cow Designs, Adam sews on the fabricator, but Joe sews on a domestic. So you have a lot of people out there who sew on a domestic machine that do big things. You have Uh-Oh Creations, that her name is Tara. She was just in Bag of the Month with the Howie. Her bags are on, what is that TV show on HBO? This Is All of Us or whatever, where it's like the zombie apocalypse, the backpacks on that show are all of hers. Yeah, you heard me. All of the backpacks on that big production show that everybody is watching that's about to start season 2 are Tara's. And she sews on a Bernina domestic. So it's not the machine, it's about techniques. You have to master techniques. And that's where I tell people that it's it's all about you, and if you can do the techniques. And the person I feel who really does teach techniques in bag making with their patterns is Alexis. I will stand by her even if she was like, I despise you, Shinova. I would tell you to pay attention to every one of her patterns. Even if it's not your cup of tea, she will teach you how to minimize bulk, because I'm a firm believer, just because it's bulk doesn't mean you need to sew over it, because it's still bulky and you just put a stitch in it. It doesn't look good. So like I follow her techniques with all of my bags, because I think that's what makes them look more high end and professional. I feel like Alexis has made me a better bag maker. Another person who speaks about bulk a lot too is Maggie 55. Sue Checks or Sue Cheeks. She speaks about it too, because a lot of people think that they can just go, they'll be like, oh, I could sew over 10 layers of vinyl. But where are you sewing over these 10 layers of vinyl? And if so, how does that look good to you? Like, where are you sewing over that? So I don't know. It just really, really pay attention to these big time designers out there. Most of them, a lot of them sew on a domestic. You have you have Not at Thread Co. Sh Most of her patterns, not all of them, she does have patterns where she does have it mostly geared to industrials. She also has, like, um, the Aries was meant for a domestic machine. I believe her video was nowhere near an industrial. She had the Gaia was meant for a domestic. So there's a lot of patterns out there that are just simply meant for a domestic machine. It's all about learning how to work that bulk. Yep. So many creations too. Oh my god, Jess's bags are so classy. Like, if you have a chance to see them in person, you would flip. She's so Her bags are so classy. And one thing I like about Jess is, because she sews with a natural fiber like cork, you really don't have to work with a lot of stabilizers or interfacings, which cuts the cost of your production of bag making. And there are so many cool things that you could do with cork now. There's even like special court care, like you can give to people for instructions on how to clean it, how to like put special lotions in it to help prevent cracks and whatever. You could like one up it. And like, so, you know, I also, another person, look at Sarah Lawson, So Sweetness. All of her bags are like really badass. Sorry for my language, but all of her bags are like baddies. She was one of the original people that showed everyone how to put uh binding. My favorite bag from her, and I still my back the backpack that I can do in my sleep, is the Cumberland bag. You have the option of binding or birthing, and that bag, I think that pattern's like 8 years old. And she sews on a semi-industrial, which is still technically a domestic machine because it doesn't take any industrial parts. Um, so like I like there's a lot of people out there. It's just about learning how to maneuver with your thing. I do think there are a lot of perks to an industrial, because sewing on a machine all day every day can put a lot of wear and tear on your machine. And that's where I tell people that's when an industrial comes in. If you're sewing like 8-10 hours a day, yeah, dude, you need an industrial, because the domestic machines are not meant to have that many like miles on it. That's like trying to have a Uber car with like a regular Honda. You're going to need new tires, and you're going to need new shocks and brakes and all this stuff, because you're messing with the domestic car and you're trying to make a commercial thing. So like you have to maybe want level up, but if you're talking about bulk, no. If you're only making bags here and there, you can totally get away with a domestic because there's so many people who make tremendous bags and who thrive and sell bags for a living that do it on domestics that make are like to me I look up to them as bag makers. I personally sew for hours. I'm that person that changes needles out almost every day on different machines because I sew for hours a day, like literally hours. So it all depends. And then it's also personal wants because if whether this is a whether this is a hobby or a business or just because it's you get things because you want it. If this was a Harley or a motorcycle, I'll be like, yeah, dude, get it. But I don't want people to get things with false um pretenses like because I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, I want to get it because it can sew over 6 layers of vinyl." I'm like, what pattern are you messing with? Like, what? Where are you sewing over 6 layers of vinyl? Oh yeah, to steam or not to steam. I like to steam because I feel like I'm getting a mini facial. Is like yes, clear out my pores. But this mini one, this particular one, I'm not saying all, like I'll see other people use it and like when they hit the side, they get steam, right? Mine's steams like 5 minutes later when it's rusting. I have no idea. Oh, it does it now because it's you guys are watching. I have a gravity feed. I got mine from Steve from Sewing Gold in Chicago, and that is my favorite thing to do. Now, however, I don't use it in a video in the videos because the one time I tried to use it in a video, it almost landed in my lap. And I was like, whoa, I am not trying to get a skin graft on camera. So- oh, well, like, did you use interfacing on the canvas? I use canvas too. It is like the only thing with canvas, I like canvas on straps. You just have to wash it. Canvas somehow, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because the weft and the warp is tighter than quilting cotton. So I feel like if you ever try this, this is the weirdest thing when you come home, when you buy canvas and you get quilting cotton, do an alcohol wipe test. Get one of your alcohol wipes and swipe it on the canvas and then swipe it on the cotton. You will not get, you shouldn't get any residue from the quilting cotton because it's a looser weft and weave. But for the canvas, if it's black, khaki, or whatever, you will get like it's like a color catcher. The color will pick up on the alcohol. I have no idea why. I really wanna go to like I said, I've been wanting to go to New York to go to FIT and all this stuff because I have so many questions down in the fashion district to ask this because I have 0 idea why this is. It's just something that I noticed. So whatever I get canvas, I immediately wash it, and I you have to immediately iron it because if gets wrinkles, that I don't know why iron like, that canvas is so hard to iron out if you don't iron it immediately after you wash it, but after it's done, it doesn't bleed anymore, and it then makes a very sturdy strap. But if you do not wash it, it will rub that bleeding will transfer onto the person's clothing, and it is horrid. Whether it's khaki, and then you'll get rubbing transfers of that person's clothes if it's khaki, white, or whatever. So you must wash that canvas before you turn it into anything. That is my only thing I can suggest with canvas in a bag. I love canvas in a bag because it gives really great structure without putting too much interfacing or stabilizers in. These are so small. and the thing is if I have to go to New York, I have to do it either in fall or spring. I am not trying to, because watch me go like in the winter, like in January, and then I get hit with Snowmageddon. Like, awesome, awesome. Or thunder snow. Thunder snow always freaks me out because I'm enamored with the like the thunder and lightning with the snow, and I would just stay there and watch it while I hear somebody tell me, "Run, stupid, get inside." So, it was it was really funny, because I was born and raised in California, so I'm used to seeing, like, the earthquake signs in California. If you're from California, you know if you know, you know. Like, there's earthquake signs, like, in California everywhere, right? So when I come here, I'm seeing signs like if it's thunder, like there's like signs like if there's thunder, go inside, and it's like a little lightning bolt or light cover, and you could see like the person like holding their hand above their head and they're running into a building. And I was like, what the what? And and my husband, he's born and raised in Louisiana, but he has family that kind of came up here to DC after Hurricane Katrina, right? So he's like, yeah, it's actually really quite normal. You need to go inside when it's thundering. And I had no idea that the East Coast gets so much thunder and lightning. Now it's like whatever. I actually like when it thunders and lightnings because it's like the best sleep you ever have, and it doesn't bother me anymore. But like when people come and visit me, they're like terrified like of the sound. Um, and it kind of reminds me like when people would visit in California, like there'll be like a 4.0, and every true Californian will fall asleep and not even care that it's an earthquake, but it's somebody from not California is like freaking out, right? Like, um, when I seen first time I seen thunder snow, I was like stuck like on stupid because there was fresh snow, and I've never seen lightning hit snow before. It is the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen in your life. It's the most gorgeous and terrifying thing. And I was just stuck on stupid staring at it because I've never seen it before. And yeah, for some odd reason I get hypnotized by that. And I just felt like I should share that horrible story with you. Yeah, we have so many cool bag makers in this community. So many talented people. I love the fact that they're like it's endless like endless knowledge. And I love the fact that there's that even though we think we know like all the tips and tricks we could possibly know at this point, there are people that are still coming up with new tips that we never thought of. And it's just like, this is so cool. Every day there's like a new video on something like, oh, I created this new way to do this. And you're just like, oh my gosh, this makes my life easier. And I love that because somebody coming up with a new way of doing something can really benefit someone that was struggling with it, you know? Okay, press this out. Okay, we have one more to go. And then we're going to start putting it together. I'm excited to see how this comes out. So we have 6. We have to have 7 rows. These are so tiny. I haven't done a tiny little quilt like this in forever. I think I got this cotton from Connecting Threads. That is like one of my favorite places to buy cotton. And whenever they have like a major sale, I go like ham because they always have like cute like cottons like they have this hopscotch one that I like bought a whole bunch of stuff from. They always have really cute cottons for like sometimes like $3 or $4 a yard, and you're like, yes, Yes. I also like to get stuff from Nancy Notions. I always like to see what kind of new notions they have out too. I have I've always been enamored with them. Getting their catalog feels like getting like the JC Penney's or the Toys R Us catalog when the Christmas ones came out when I was a kid. And it makes me super excited. The Amazon Christmas catalog came in the mail and I was like excited. And my youngest kid is 12, and they were like, Mom. And I was like, it sucks that none of you guys want Legos or toys anymore. I almost had a nervous breakdown because I realized that last year was the last year that anybody wanted any kind of like toys. They all want like electronics or games or like phones and stuff like that. I'm just like, this sucks. I didn't know I was going to be upset about that, and I am. All right. Let's see. Get my tails. And then we're going to iron this one out. All right. So then we're going to put these together using a 1/4 of an inch, the standard quilting seam allowance. Okay. Right sides together. Seam to seam. You don't have to use pins. I'm just trying to match the seam as best as I can because I am the worst eyeballer in the world. People that can just eyeball stuff, I am legit jealous of you. You could put clips too. And I think like Emmeline Bags has like these pins that you can like sew over. I still pull them out, or at least I try. But these are just like the regular quilting pins that you can get at Joann's. Sears and Penny's catalogs. Yeah, it's crazy how like there's no more Sears, and I don't even know if the J.C. Penney's is open still at our mall. There's no more nothing. Like I like I'm like our mall's going to be existed in 5 years. I mean, What is going to happen? All right. So we're going to sew this out with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay. And then that's press it. Okay. Then I'm just going to take this one that was solo and pin that. See how it steams after? I'm glad somebody here was able to see what it does. Thank you. Thumbs up, talk, and comments help the algorithm tremendously. It makes other people see. If you like my videos, if you can subscribe and share if you think it's worthy, it helps tremendously with the algorithm as well. And I really do appreciate it. And I definitely appreciate Spoonful of Sugar for allowing me to make a tutorial. I believe she has a tutorial on this. I definitely like the name of her business. Spoonful of Sugar is just super adorable. You immediately want to start singing Mary Poppins. Oh man, it's just been a while since I quilt. I'm not gonna lie, this is like bringing out my thing. I used to make one quilt a year, and I've been so busy with bag making that I haven't done it. And I've been getting so many quilts showing on my timeline from like 7 years ago, and I'm just like, I haven't made a quilt in so long. I miss free motion quilting and all that. And if you have a clapper on this, you can really set it in to make those seams nice and flat. All right, let's do these two, and then we'll put them together. Everything should line up perfectly because you measured everything. And if you pin over the seams, then nothing should be all wonky. I mean, it's going to be an antique ghost. It's not going to be white, but I feel like he'll be, like he's been in the attic, so maybe he's a little dusty. He'll be cute. I think this will be a good teacher gift too, because they always have like their teachers get a lot of mugs, right? But mug rugs will be super cute. And the fact that this comes, you do it as a set, one rug going to the left and the other one going to the right is like wicked cute. And let's see. press it good. And I got one that did not want to go over, but it's fine. It's fine. Nobody will know. Right, we're going to pin these two together. Does anyone else have this wool mat and just like every time you iron, you're just like, yeah, farm fresh. Definitely farm fresh. And there goes my iron. All right, 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And I just read the directions. You could have pressed the seams in opposite directions and like kind of like press them one direction and the other. I did mine's open, and I just, you don't have to do that. It's just out of habit. So you can have it going one direction, just fold them over, and you're good to go. It's a rug, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and it's very beginner friendly. Right, let's put this together. I was telling my husband about her because I wanted to name her Bluey. She's kind of sassy. She only steams when I don't have in my hand. She sometimes steams like that too when there's no water in her whatsoever. I just think that maybe I just got one that was special. Let's see. Your taught to put pins. Yeah. I did safety pins in places, but I have a tendency of sewing over safety pins. So yeah, that's definitely not good. I have accidentally left safety pins in a blanket too. All right. So I'm just going to give this a nice press in the front. And like, again, if you have a clapper, it's like a piece of wood, and you, after you iron it, you place this down, and what it does, it gets a nice crease to it and just flattens everything out even better. I have a clapper, but I think my husband has it, and he just, yeah, he has it. So once we have this all set up, and what we're going to do is we're going to we're going to base the wadding, or your preferred method. You can baste it with spray or safety pins to this. So my wadding is right here. So I'm just going to trim this down. And it's not, you can use fusible fleece if you want. This is actual wadding that I got from my friend over in the UK, because I was curious about a project, and it was a remnant. And then we're going to quilt. So I'm going to quilt over the lines. So there are 7 rows Oh, well, actually 6. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna do 6 rows across and 6 rows down. Just following the line. But you can, if you want to, if this is your first time like free motion quilting, then go for it. Go like this is a perfect opportunity to try something new. And it if you're like afraid that it's going to move, then this is also, if you have basting spray, you can use that. And I'm just gonna hop over a couple of stitches, and I'm just gonna have it going as a continuous stitch. Needle down when I need to pivot. But like you can draw with like a heat erasable pen, like a pumpkin or something funny, like someone's initials. That's not funny, but someone's initials, or you can do like a signature or something, and you can like trace it out and then sew it over. Like it doesn't have to be something basic like I'm doing. If you want to practice straight lines, this is a really good way to start practicing top stitching though. But my fabric is super busy, so that's why I'm just sticking to straight stitching. I'm going to move these pins back into the magnetic bowl so that way I don't accidentally get one in the bed of the machine, because that has happened a lot. And this is basically just giving it a more puffed up look, so that way your mug rug will have like it really does look like a little quilt, giving it a little insulation, a little cuteness. And you can do a lot of things. You can use your thread as like a feature, a detail. So you can use some contrasting thread, and this is where you can actually maybe even change up your thread, top thread. There are some really beautiful threads out there. Like if you want to use some iridescent threads or glittery threads, so that way someone can see your top stitching and like the details that you put in. You can use glow in the dark thread, so that way if someone uses your cup holder, your cup mug at that night, it glows in the dark. There's a lot of things you can do. Your imagination can just go purely wild. Okay, we have one more row to go. Now I'm not sewing all the way around here, basting it around the corners, because I believe the next step we're going to trace. As you can see all the like the boxes that we did. I believe we're going to trace our ghost in the next step. And we are going to pin the template and cut out the ghost around it. So we're going to pin the template and we're going to cut the ghost. I'm going to trace the ghost on my cutting table because it is a pattern piece, and I'm not going to show it on camera, but I'll be right back. I'm going to trace it out real quick. And then make sure when you cut out your template for your ghost that you write right side or left side R or L on the ghost, so that way you're fully aware of what side you're cutting out. Okay, and I'm going to 5 seconds left. And the template is not that complicated to cut out. You can most likely use your rotary cutter for it, or you could trace it and cut it out with scissors. Okay, and okay. So we have our ghosts. Hold on. That curve is not as sharp as I want. So we have our ghost. So then our next thing we're going to do is you're supposed to trace out the eyes onto some fusible, and we're going to get this, trace out the eyes. And I have some heat and bond. And you can have fun with this. You can use the eyes she created. You can use different eyes and make it more expressive, however you want it. You can put a mouth on there if you wish. Have fun. So I'm going to cut this, grab this. I'm going to hold this down for a couple of seconds. There are instructions on the website, as well as usually the paper if you're getting it from like Joann's or you're getting it from wherever you're going to get it. There's usually instructions. We're going to cut these out. And then we're going to peel back the paper. And there, as you can see, there's a, going to place it where the ghost's eye is going to be. And then place that here. We're going to just hold it down for a minute. And it's nice and firm. We're going to cut the other one out very similar. But you can make them like hearts, like whatever your heart contents. There's no wrong or right answer to this. This is so cute. This is wicked cute. Okay, and then we're going to cut this out. Okay, we're going to peel back the paper. we have that nice sticky surface. It's not sticky to touch. It just has like a nice shiny adhesive part. Let's see. And that will, now we're going to place for the other eye. All right. And it's still lifting up, so I'm going to give it a little bit more heat. Put my quill away. All right. So from here, we're going to stitch down the eyes. Because even though it has that adhesive, it could still come off. Like if someone, you know, is pilling it. So you want to make sure it stays down. So you're going to stitch around about 1/8 of an inch, and you want because it's such a small thing, you want to do a smaller stitch length. So I'm going to go to a 2, and I'm going to back stitch about 2 stitches just to lock it in. And just take your time, and every time you make sure your needle down. And again, if you're a confident top stitcher, this is where you can shine too, because then you can use some threads that are contrasting, like again, a glow in the dark thread. There's like glow in the dark black or glitter thread or something, and it'll be really cool to have, like, I think it would be cool if they had glow in the dark, because the eyes will glow with a circle at night. And now I'm going to back stitch 2, just to lock them in. Okay, you can see the circle in the back, and that is how it looks in the front, but on the back, it's like this. Now we're going to do the other one. Back stitch, just lock it in, and just make sure to breathe. This is a tight spot, but you got this. And back stitch 2. I'm going to change back my seam allowance back to a 2.5 or a 3, so that way it won't be such a tight stitch when we start to the next steps. And now the eyes are all sewn on. And so if someone does decide to go pill happy, they're stitched on and they're not going anywhere. All right, so then we're going to take our 2 pieces, our 2 back pieces, and we're going to place them right sides together. So I'm just going to, because they're kind of crinkly, I'm going to just lightly just iron them out, so that way that they can be okay. All right, so we're going to put them right sides together, but we're going to leave a small opening so they could be the turn hole. So we're going to leave about a gap, a 2-inch gap. So I'm just going to draw a small gap that's about 2 inches in the center. And when we get to those areas, we're going to back stitch really well. So again, we're using our quilters 1/4 of an inch. Right sides together. We're going to back stitch the beginning. And at the end of that line, I'm going to go about 3 or 4 stitches back and then go forward 2. I'm going to drag my threads all the way to that other stitch line where that 2-inch gap is, and I'm going to start there, go about 3 stitches forward, and then go all the way back, and then do it again. All right, so now I'm going to trim my threads. And then that little where I dragged my thread so that way I didn't have to hold my tails. It's my lazy way. I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to bring this to the iron. And we're going to press open this seam. And give it a good press. And we're going to do it on this side too, on the right side. All right. So then we're going to take our ghost and we're going to place it right sides together to this. We're going to take some pins and we're going to pin it so it doesn't shift. As many or as few pins as you need. Okay, we're going to sew around this using a 1/4 of an inch. We're almost done, guys. And if you're like, okay, I can't see 1/4 of an inch, trim so it's flush. Because I'm like that too, because I will have to draw. And my foot is a narrow foot, so it's not, if you're on your domestic machine, use your 1/4 of an inch foot, but I have my narrow foot on right now. So what will be easier for me is just to trim this to the pattern piece right here. And then I can use my guide on my machine as for the 1/4 of an inch line. But that, again, is one of the beauties of the domestic machines and having that 1/4 of an inch foot right then there. The narrow foot on a domestic machine, I believe, is it hits at the 1/8 of an inch. All right, here we go. Back stitch well at the beginning and the end. Make sure you don't hit any of the pins around the corners. Take your time. And then just pivot at the corners. And then if you, again, put the needle down to maneuver. All right. All right, I'm going to cut the tails and I'm going to remove all the pins. I'm going to grab my pinking shears and I'm going to trim around, making sure I don't trim into the stitches. if you accidentally do trim in the stitches, it's not the end of the world. You can go 1/8 of an inch all around the ghost again. Now with the opening that we have, we're going to turn this inside out, the right side's out, inside out. It's already inside out. And we're going to grab chopstick and gently push out the ghost little phalanges. And we're going to roll it out. We're going to grab our iron and I'm going to roll out these seams and then press. And do the same thing here. Roll out the seams and then give it a good press. Use that steam. Now it wants to use it. It's like, yes, we have a project we want to use it on. Roll out the seams, press. Oh, this is adorable. And then we're just going to do a ladder stitch to close this up. This is so cute. And let's see, do I have a needle? I should. I have this humongous one, but okay. We'll just work what we got. It's not complain. So tomorrow I'm thinking about doing the witch's hat. I'm just missing the wax thread that I usually use. I want to get it from Waywack, but I don't know when my order would be here. So I could use industrial thread because it has, you know, the nylon does have the same effect where it glides through because it's nylon, but the wax nylon, it just hits whole, like completely different when it's getting sewn. It just glides. But I want to make it where it's more obtainable for everybody to get everything they need to get. All right. Look, why is the eye, why do these look like eyes and this is the mouth? Like, please don't close me. So I have a knot. I'm going to stick it in the seam. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the side and I'm going to go in between the side and I'm going to pull the thread. I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to sew just in the side lip, not above or below, but just in the side. And we're going to continue, and it's not, we don't have a lot. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, just let me bring this to the machine. We don't have a lot. Hand stitching is underrated and it does give a better finish to things. My dog is sleeping. He's dreaming and he's like puppy whimpering in the vent. And as you can see, the reason why they call it a ladder stitch is you could see it slowly going up like a ladder. That little bird tweet is Loki. just take little small nicks. Only reason why I have the iron is because I'm folding mine. So I just want to give it one more press once we close this up so that way it can be perfect. So see how it's like, you see how it's going up the ladder. We're almost done. And then I'm going to do this one on this side. All right. So then when you pull this one string, it all closes. Isn't that the coolest? And then it looks invisible. So I'm just going to take this and take that knot and just stick it inside, drag the needle in, and cut it off. And it's an invisible stitch. We hit it with the iron one more time. And then I hit it with the iron in the back because I'm using polyester thread. It'll shrink those threads even more to make it even more visible. Unplug the iron, and you have the perfect little mug rug. You guys did it. And then you just do the other side. So you'll have one for the right and one for the left. I feel like this is the cutest thing I've seen in a very long time. Instead of wadding, you can use fusible fleece. If you don't have fusible fleece, if you're a quilter, you can use your quilter batting. Some people have like recipes. Like I think that like Tulip Pink likes to use double batting. You can use double batting so that way you can help with condensation. You can, if you've been wanting to practice free motion quilting, this is your chance. You can, like I said, you can take someone's initials and you can do the free motion quilting on that. The endless opportunities. So if you guys have any questions in reference about your little mug rug, please, 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 please let me know. I feel like this is the cutest little ghost coasters I've ever, ever, ever made. I am so excited about this, and I'm really grateful for Spoonful of Sugar because I seen these yesterday and I was like, I really want to make these. So these are this is wickedly adorable. So if you have any questions, let me know. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow, and I hope everyone has a very good day. Stay whimsical. Bye.